Yeah, and as we head right into the draft here, Cruzeiro on the blue side, banning out the Camille, Galio, and Misfortune. Red Canids or Red Kalunga here, banning out the Talia Akali Pantheon. So red side again. It feels like red side only really gets one ban because they got to ban Akali and they got to ban Pantheon.
Yeah, yeah. It's just both those champs have been perma. We haven't seen Talia either yet, but yeah, they want to take away. I think you're going to see, given how Guigo has played, Guigo and Titan, really. It makes sense that the first couple bans here are going to be thrown at Misfortune, which he just bossed on. We saw the memes in the beginning of the broadcast. Titan was an absolute monster on Misfortune. And any sort of carry options they're going to take away from Guigo. But the Ivern, I think, making his CBLOL debut this year, yeah, neither picked nor banned through a bunch of these games. Ivern top, kind of nice right now.
Oh no, not again.
Yeah. On it because I think he would be wasted on Ivern top. No offense. I think this might be Aegis's job, but still.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of Aegis, Aegis is now the only person left to not have died a single time in CBLOL since Touch just went down twice earlier in our game one. So Aegis on the Ivern, I mean, that might be the option here to try and keep him alive there. But the Rel pickup as well for JoJo. I'm personally actually a big fan of Rel, but she's not seen too much sort of play in professional scene. In CBLOL specifically, only Professor has played Rel, and that was not a game that Professor will want to recall here. So I'll have to see if JoJo can actually pilot this Rel a little bit better.
Yeah. And JoJo has, he was on the Galio, I believe, the last time around, and was able to play that with I think some decent success. I really hope I'm not misremembering that. But someone else I want to look at is Hawk on the side of Cruzeiro, because PBO, right, and Nosferus, they are your two big carry options. But Hawk, in that, he was not good at all. Let's be clear, against Pain. But I think more of that is credit to Pain because they look so strong right now. But in the win, in the first match against INTZ, Hawk was 1-0-15 on this Leona, and the only Jhin game we've seen in CBLOL, PBO was on Jhin there, so could see them. Actually, no, there's Aphelios. Silly 4x4. So it's going to be that Aphelios Thresh bottom lane. That is a bread and butter combo, but I'm looking for Hawk as well. Thresh is not a roaming support, so he's not going to be able to have that same kind of success that he did on the Leona, I think, to that degree, because he was up there enabling Nosferus and stuff. But yeah, Hawk has been good in the wins, of which there are only one.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if, how this works, the Thresh into the Rel. I personally feel that's Rel favored, but Cruzeiro obviously feel different since they did pick the Thresh into the Rel there. We are seeing the Jinx for Titan being locked in here. And if we recall that Attack on Titan meme that we saw at the beginning of today here, the two big monsters were Guigo and Titan. Guigo potentially piloting this Yone, which is what he did in Game 2, Week 1. And Titan here, Jinx. That's not a standard ADC at all, but it is one of the sort of hyper carry late game champions, which can match an Aphelios late game. And more importantly, Titan is usually the richest player in the game and usually does the most damage on his team. So I feel like if there is an AD carry that you put on a late game hyper carry, Titan probably fits that bill really, really well.
Yeah, this is the first Jinx we're seeing as well this year in CBLOL. But I think if there any is, but excuse me, you are right. If there's anyone you're going to put on Titan or on Jinx, it should be Titan. They have played around him. Guigo has been great, and now they're going to put Guigo on the Mordekaiser, I guess, and maybe throw Avenger down there in the mid lane. I suppose you could go Mordekaiser mid, but I mean, at that point, you're just playing matchups. So I think that Guigo is going to be on that, and it is a bit of a shame because, like you said, his Yone was just phenomenal.
Yeah, and now I'm looking forward to seeing what this Mordekaiser can bring out as well, right? Because Guigo has been a monster in both the games he has played so far. He's been really good into the lane and outside of lane as well. And now with the Mordekaiser, it's a good pickup not only in lane, but also later on in team fights. You can take out the Aphelios, drag him to the Death Realm, and suddenly Cruzeiro is going to be lacking team fight power. You can take out Nosferus, and then Titan's going to be perfectly safe because nobody's going to be able to effectively dive onto this Jinx. So I like the pickup a lot in context of this team composition where you've got a lot of protection, you've got a lot of support, you've got a lot of peel for this Jinx. Whereas for Cruzeiro's composition here, it fits. Cruzeiro. It's kind of a safe composition. It doesn't all in particularly hard on one thing. It's just sort of a Swiss Army knife composition. Whatever needs to be done, they can do it.
Yeah, no, and I like that the pick for Guigo seems a little more. It was almost like a defensive Mordekaiser pick. You're right, because for the most part, Cruzeiro, they, not as much, but they do have a lot of threats that like to go forward, right? Lilia has to kind of run at you. They're throwing Trucklax here, who still has yet to kind of show up here, but he's going on this Volley Bear, which is not nearly as strong as it was this time last year, but still a pick that'll find its way into the meta just randomly, either in the top lane or the jungle. But again, he wants to run at you, and I mean, Guigo's just going to say, all right, thank you very much, and just hoover him up. And then your engage kind of goes out the window. Really excited to see the Ivern, though. And I think the shields and such will really help Avenger as he tries to, go back and try to get those picks and just play this Yone as aggressively as he should.
Yeah, definitely excited to see the Ivern jungle, especially not top. I know it got played in the LEC. I'm personally not a big fan of the Ivern top. In the jungle, I just think he makes so much more sense here when his entire kit and passive is built around that. Also, another sort of Moonstaff abuser here.
Mm.
So we'll have to see how that works out. It works. It makes sense, right? With the Jinx, with the Mordekaiser, with the Yone. A lot of people want to do it, but my eyes throughout the laning phase, I suspect, is going to be drawn most towards the mid lane because anywhere where Yone is, their aggression lies. And with a LeBlanc to match, Nosfer is piloting the LeBlanc no less because Nosfer is well known for his LeBlanc play here. I feel like mid lane is going to snowball one way or the other. That's not going to be a stale lane. It's not going to be a boring lane. It's going to be pretty active and it's going to go one way or the other pretty quickly.
I mean, I hope so. Because either one of those champs with any sort of snowballing can really, really take over the game. Um, and, not really, Ivern has okay, gank setup, right? He's got the root and he can get himself in range, so he's got the ability to lock down um, on the side of Cruzeiro there, Nosferis on the LeBlanc. But like you said, his LeBlanc is very, very clean. And then in the jungle, it is, oh my gosh, it's Lilia. Yes, I mean Lilia's not gonna really be getting a ton of gank. I think it's just gonna be about in that lane for Nosferis. LeBlanc has a ton of kill pressure. Yone is very strong, but even things just like the Soul Unbound, right? Just keeping track of, okay, look, he's got to go back to that initial point eventually. So keeping track of that and being ready to dive on that, especially early, because when a Yone is behind, oh Mary Mother of everything, it is so hard to be relevant again.
Yeah, and I mean they could also potentially just switch the matchups. We'll have to see, what happens here. I don't want to count Titan Avenger out too early either, because Avenger is a pretty decent laner as well. So with that, it looks like we might be experiencing some technical difficulties on the main stream there. So while they're getting that fixed and getting us back into game, we are going to throw to a short intermission here, and we'll see you all back on Summoner's Rift.
Welcome back, bem-vindos a Summoner's Rift indeed. We are finally back, Cruzeiro and Red Canids. The blue team on the blue side, the red team on the red side. It doesn't get more meta than this, but what does get a lot less meta is Jinx making her debut in the CBLOL, Ivern making his debut in the CBLOL, but he is meta in the broader sphere of things, maybe a little more solo queue, but I believe that the technical term you use, we're all about technical terms here on the Unofficial CBLOL broadcast, was Moonstone Abuser. Dirty, dirty Moonstone Abuser. I added the first two words.
Yeah, I mean, Moonstone right now, it is making a huge sort of comeback, but originally, even before LS made it popular, Ivern was already taking it, using it, and that was one of the reasons why Ivern actually started making a comeback was because he could use it so effectively here. And you know what? I didn't even notice actually that Cruzeiro was the Blues, that they're the blue team. And so, yeah, that joke there, that's really solid because that will definitely help me to track who's and who. And if I start saying red, yeah, it's actually right. Bot side, oh, a little bit of cheese.
Yeah, there's the crash down. Exhaust
Exhaust.
already coming down onto Titan, and thank goodness, because if not, Hawk might have gone down there. The Ignite came down as well. So Summoner for Summoner here. Yeah, no, it'll be nice because I think often when I'm casting, sometimes when my brain is processing too much information, I'll just read what's in front of me, and the text will say, "Oh, red team, has slain the dragon," and I can say red and catch myself and say Canids instead of team and still be right. It's really nice.
Yeah, just red has slain. Good enough there. I do want to point out that that bot side though, Hawk and PBO were the ones who set up the ambush, and Hawk and PBO are the ones to lose that ambush pretty badly there. So I'm a little concerned about decision making coming through from Cruzeiro here, if that's sort of their decision making at level 1.
Yeah, no harm, no foul, I guess, because it was one summoner for one summoner. Both the AD carries still have flash and heal, and that's what the important thing is. Aegis here, a friend of the forest, bowing in front of the various jungle camps. Pretty standard Ivern runes here that you're seeing, Airy, Futures Market, etc. And Nosferus just having his way with Avenger in the mid lane right now, abusing his range advantage as he should.
Oh, and just as you're saying, abusing his
Yeah.
range, I was just wondering, are we gonna get the Moonstone Abuser gank? Unfortunately, not for now. Aegis doesn't really want to get into that, and that's one of the things with Yone. In that a lot of people understand that Yone is really strong. We've seen quite a bit of him in competitive play, but Yone is strong on the aggressive when he's the one choosing when to go in and how much damage he wants to put out. If you pick an equally aggressive pick like an assassin, like a LeBlanc, and you're the one calling the shots, Yone is actually really weak on the back foot. So we can expect to continue seeing this abuse come out if there's no external factors affecting this lane and helping him swing back, or if Nosferatu runs out of mana.
Yeah, and that's where you can punish. I'm glad you brought up the mana thing, especially early on. We'll see what he opts into, right, as far as helping out that mana pool. But part of abusing a range advantage is burning a lot of mana in doing so. An Avenger taking the Doran's shield to start as well. But Nosferus going Electrocute and Corrupting Pot. So his intentions are clear.
Yeah, just continuously putting down that poke, and even auto attacks will proc the corrupting potion passive as well. So that just straight range advantage as well there. But he's already down to only one stack, and most of that I feel like has been just for more mana than necessarily health coming through from that pot there. So early back coming out from Nosferatu, maybe we even see the tier, because that's been something that's been a lot that been rather popular recently, is building tier in lane just to make sure you've got enough mana.
Mm-hmm. And instead, we'll opt for the Doran's Ring on that first back, as well as the Amp Tome. So just going straight damage here. There's the Crash down. And we'll be on the Ferromancy train, so having a hard time getting back. But now the TP comes in, and Jojo going to be bailed out by the heal. He did drop Ignite as well. Aegis not going to find the mark on the route, but they will hopefully find some prio for the Dragon here. When is that going to? It's another 6 seconds, actually. Sting, PBO, and Hawk might be able to respond here.
Yeah, if they can make this cheese work a second time, perhaps. But I do think that the ward in the lane actually caught Sting sneaking into the bush. So that probably won't work out for them here. Are they going to be able to get the back out of Titan? Maybe. Even if they don't, I actually think they're strong enough at this point that they could just try and force Dragon, especially since they know that Aegis isn't in the area, or that Aegis opted to leave, and it doesn't look like he's coming back when Titan and JoJo just want to go back to base.
Mm-hmm. I think that will be the case. So as the waves crash into one another, there is a little more vision control thanks to Aegis on the side of Red Canids. And if that Scuttle Crab comes up anytime soon, and even Deep Vision here, Sting is completely seen on that side. So maybe this is where you pull the trigger. You know where the enemy jungler is. You have good vision on the bot side. You know where, you think that the 80 carry support are taking similar back timings. You have all the knowledge in the world. This might be where you pull the trigger.
They do have to be careful for the mid lane though, because Avenger is kind of down compared to Nosferus. He's actually half a level down, just hit 6, but before this, Nosferus was able to sort of push him around a little bit here. And actually, they're looking like they might look to dive Guigo top lane. We have to remember Death Realm is available right now for Guigo, so trying to dive a Mordekaiser post 6 is always a risky proposition.
Mm-hmm. But even he knows his limits. He hasn't backed yet. He's just got the Doran shield, whereas Trucklax was able to take a back. He didn't have to burn TP either, so he's in a pretty good spot right now. Just a lot stronger than Guigo. He's just trying to find a good spot to back Avenger. With the Fate, with the Soul Unbound, will go right back. Swirl Seed predictive, but not quick enough. And with the Bush Caller, he will be able, or with the Bush, it's Root Caller, Brush Maker. There we go. Gosh, it's like set, right? You have Showstopper, Haymaker, Face Breaker. With Ivern, and it's not that different. But the ultimate's easy. It's Daisy. It's Daisy.
It is. Daisy, I mean, especially once you start stacking, some of that ability haste there. Daisy's always going to be right by Ivern there. So he'll have a friend wandering through the jungle, wandering into lanes with him.
That's a best case scenario for wandering around any sort of jungle. But at least you want a friend. Certainly makes the time pass. Certainly makes you a little less scared. Or make me a little less scared. I know that. Avenger here comes back with the tier 2 boots. The Berserker's Greaves, it's still called Berserker's Greaves, whereas Ninja Tap. Oh, I don't know why you would. Never mind. I'm not going to start that. Just take his boots, which is a pretty standard first back. That is what's pretty nice, is that Yone actually does all right with that as a first back, so you don't have to, sit in lane and just get your face kicked in for the sake of getting an ideal back. Berserker's Greaves as your first one is not bad.
Yeah, I'm already seeing him. He's back in lane. He's able to push Nosferus out as well, and is actually evening up the CS. So Avengers starting to bounce back a little bit from that rough laning phase, the early laning phase, which was expected in that particular matchup. Bigger question is, now that pretty much everybody is 6, when the bot lanes hit 6, will we be seeing any action here? Any priority perhaps onto the Rift Herald at all?
Let's see. We're getting close to that 10-minute mark. Still no spice. The fan votes have come in. Cruzeiro, a little bit more of a backing here, if nothing else, because of the massive weight that name carries in Brazil, despite the soccer team actually going through their worst period in history. But we have a fight breaking out, so I'll save the history lesson for a little bit later. Can Sting secure the Herald? He can, but the eye itself is going to be a little tougher to grab. Swirls around there at first blood from downtown. Titan from the mid lane sends a rocket into the river and picks off Hawk.
And that was efficiency right there as well. The moment Hawk kind of got tagged by that Yone ultimate, he just didn't come back down. Like all the attacks just piled in, and the super mega death rocket able to pick that one up for Titan. That's efficiency right there. That's what I love to see from Red Canids. And fan vote wise, it's interesting because I think almost all the casters on the Brazilian desk actually predict the Red Canids win for this matchup. So a bit of a discrepancy here between public perception as well as the analyst expert predictions here.
Yeah, I mean, the call there is mostra sua torcida. It's show your fandom. It's not predict a winner. But even then, those two things can get, with fandoms as they are, they could be kind of one and the same. The head and heart discrepancy isn't always there. We got a tweet there from a Red Canids fan saying, showing their support. Bora Cabuloso. Seeing, Bora, is he maybe? Okay, I gotta check on that. Cabuloso. I think that was what Cabu used to be called back in the day. But either way,
Wait,
we are.
Gabu's INTZ.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. I was like, Cabu. No, he used to be called. Or no, used to be called Shabula. Oh man, I'm mixing up my players. All right. I'll worry about that later. Right ahead of a dive coming in. The sleep lands, and he's gonna go right back whence he came, ready
Oh,
to pounce on his Nosferus, but a really good flash by
more.
Avenger. Power will do the rest. Avenger played that beautifully, and who else but all your friends from the jungle, Daisy, helping secure the kill.
Okay, that was nasty. And by the way, I think I figured out what happened because Kaboo was previously from the Red Kenneds.
There we go.
So yeah, he's transferred over. So I guess they're saying that still cheering even though he's no longer there. He's still there in spirit. And in speaking of spirit, Avenger, that's nasty. That's not what you want to see if you're the side of Cruzeiro, because when you start seeing plays like that, that's like in solo queue. That's when like, oh, that's that 2 million mastery Yone ex Yasuo player coming in, and that's when you gotta be real scared.
Yone X Yasuo player. Well said. Yeah, no, I think that was no, that was just a really intelligent play. I mean, and I was about to praise, Nosferus for just reading Avenger like a book, right? I mean, the brush, but also good brush placement by Aegis just around the tower, seeing
Mhm.
where the Soul Unbound would take Avenger back to. And if nothing else, just making it hard for Nosferus to immediately drop the pain down on Avenger when he came back to his soul. Trucklax trying to do a little bit of that himself, gets the CC down and just beats Guigo over the head. And I think he burned his ultimate a little while ago as well. I didn't see. Yeah, no, it was in that
Yep.
initial skirmish. And then up comes Aegis to help secure him. He didn't even need the Ivern's help.
No, Aegis, I think, realized it was going to be too late there. In fact, I actually think it was Guigo turning around to help Aegis because Sting was just sitting right on top of him, swirling that staff around and around. And Aegis wanted to make sure he didn't die. He's still 0 deaths so far, 1-0-1, keeping that record up. But this is not the Guigo we've seen from week one, unfortunately. Guigo almost always won his lane. And now that he's not winning his lane, I'm interested to see what this means for Red Canids because they no longer have that sort of juggernaut coming up the top lane where they can always just fall back and rely on.
Yeah, no, I think that is. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a different role for Guigo. The whole playing from behind thing, looking like he's going to go all in on. I believe that's Riftmaker, which is still pretty standard for Mordekaiser. Could go
Mhm.
Nashor's Tooth on top of that. That was really popular. I know at the was it? Oh gosh, it feels like forever ago. Was it in the preseason or at the end of last season? We go
It
Nashor's
was
Tooth
the
for just
end of last season, yeah,
yeah, it
and
was.
that was the split push Mordekaiser build, with the Rylai's to follow as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Nash's Tooth here still would kind of work, especially since you're fighting against the Volibear, and there's a pretty good chance two of you are going to be standing in there just whacking each other for a while as well. With the Conquerors, it,
Yep.
it favors the Mordekaiser in extended trades.
Yeah, and I think they're going to need magic damage coming from him with an AP mid laner. Titan's going to be dealing out nothing but physical damage. You want Guigo to, your Mordekaiser isn't there expressly for damage, but Mordekaiser can carry games. It's just usually not what he's asked to do. You're there for that ultimate kind of, if nothing else. But just having him kind of stand in the middle of everything with his passive and his W as well, just slowly chunking everybody down will certainly help.
And we are now getting some vision of the bot lane there, which we haven't looked at much because it's a Jinx versus an Aphelios, both late game skillers. And the Thresh and the Rel, they're not there to be engaged champions. In fact, that's a sort of misconception a lot of people have about the Rel. That Rel, standard engaged champ, it's just like a reskinned Leona sort of thing, but not really. Rel actually excels even more in counter engage. So both kind of defensive supports paired with scaling ADCs means the bot side of the map is probably going to be super boring unless Dragon's up and both junglers are hard committing to it, which again, with an Ivern, not super common.
No, no, not really. Sting though, goose eggs as far as the KDA, but at 123 CS, he's got the most of anyone not named an AD carry and Avenger. Actually, that statistic just fell apart as soon as I was saying that. I was really ready to praise his numbers, but still a hefty advantage over Aegis. But he does have the kill and the assist under his belt. And the fact of the matter is, look, it's one thing to get gold, it's another thing to do something with it. Summons Daisy here to help out for the Rift Herald, and then his ensuing fight that might break out. Everyone sees everybody. The pings come flying down. Now let's see what happens here. He can get the trigger seed on Daisy and send her in. Just trying to zone Sting away. Aegis going to pop the trigger seed on himself. Nosferus going to land the root. Guigo not going to
Oh,
find anyone with the Q. There goes the shield. The sleep is going to land.
Children's
That's a
here.
whole lot from Sting. Can they follow it up? Red Canids with the counter attack here. Sting picks up a kill, but now they've got Trucklax on the run. Had to use the ult
Fox
defensively.
here.
Hawk is here. Is it too little too late? The lands are just out of range. Now they're going to try to turn on him, but they will not find them. They should have, well, actually, I say that it's a 3-on-3 for the Herald here. Guigo is around. Should anything go haywire, let's see if they can test.
And I just want to point out the two junglers went down. It's not an even trade because Aegis no longer deathless.
Oh, no longer deathless indeed. So that is a completely moot statistic there. Moonlight Vigil was out really not doing a lot. No mythic item for PBO, so no damage for the 80 carry of Cruzeiro, and Trucklax just has to get out of dodge. And I think Titan secured it. Yeah, he helped secure it anyway. Oh, no. Or Titan did. There we go. Yeah. Sorry, I had my sides mixed up.
We were just talking about how red on red, blue on blue, and we're still getting them mixed up. It is actually going to be the Nashor's Tooth first pickup for Guigo here coming back in. And that fight, it's surprisingly working out in favor of Red Canids. It feels like they've just got the better sustained fight with the Yone, with the Jinx, with the Moonstone Abuser Ivern here, and Sting on the Lilia did not opt for the Moonstone. Rushed the Zonias at first. I actually thought they were going for Ludens, but they went for the Zonias. Might go Ludens, might go Leandries yet. One gives more damage, the other gives you a potential for 5-man sleep from great range, but neither gives you the healing that Moonstone does for Aegis.
No, and I think that might be what we see, especially if you want, I think Trucklax could benefit a lot from that. I think it'll be second item Moonstone, and it's not like you're being starved for magic damage with Nosferus on the LeBlanc. He's already finished up his mythic item. I think that is what we'll see. Avenger has completed his mythic item. Everybody, I think, has got theirs except for the supports. And then Sting, like you said, opting for the Zhonya's first. We saw earlier in the day, gosh, who was it that played Lilia earlier in the day? But they opted for that Zhonya's rush as well on either, gosh, I'm not going to remember. Never mind. But either way, yeah, but even Guigo opting initially for the Nashor's Tooth and sitting on an Oblivion Orb, and that does give Magic Pen or Grievous Wounds rather.
Yeah.
Now, so it's not just for the pen. It's a little bit more flexible, which I do like as far as a component.
Yeah, and it makes sense because specifically into the volley because of the regeneration. Otherwise, you've got a bit of a tough time. So, and Mordekaiser is one of those champions who can get away without building the mythic quite comfortably here. And speaking of the Mordekaiser, here he comes.
Here comes Guigo. Hawk looking for something. Trucklax looking for a flank as well. Death Sentence not going to land. Drag being taken so low, and Aegis will help secure it. Well done with the smite there. Lantern from Hawk again, not going to find anyone. Right back, and Trucklax is all alone. Cruzeiro have to help out their boy. They can't get in. The Moonlight Vigil comes in. That one hits like a truck. Hawk is there as well. They trade 1-for-1 on either side of the fight. Sting throws out a Swirl Seed. Looks like that will be all she wrote. A 1-for-1 trade, but Aegis does secure the dragon for Red Canids.
Yeah, really sort of what's the opposite of explosive here? Actually, they're going to continue down here right now. Now it might get explosive.
Just like the doctor ordered, Avenger will be taken back. Take a couple more autos. Here comes Guigo. No Death Realm available. Titan exhausted, but PBO just too low to do anything about it.
Okay. The dragon fight I thought was it fell a little bit flat the way they kind of split there. And it's like they sacked a tank on each side to just buy time. But the follow-up fight now, that was kind of exciting. And also very, very pointless. The first one had made sense, boring. The second one, exciting, didn't make sense. That being said, Titan coming back, should be able to pick up this turret easily here. So Trucklax will be exposed without a turret, maybe? Oh, he actually manages to save it. Nah, maybe. There we go. Oh, come on.
There we go. He's got his Jojo there backing him up. So it should be fine. Moonstone Renewer does not build out of Lost Chapter, correct?
No, it does not.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So I don't think we're going to see Moonstone Lilia. Okay, fair enough. No, just opting for even more magic damage. I think, just trying to, I think it's going to be that, I think that Leandries, I think that does build out a Lost Chapter. I really should know this. But I think just to chew through Mordekaiser, to chew through Rel as well.
Yeah, or like I said, I personally actually am a big fan of Ludens on Lilia because you get that sort of 5-man sleep from downtown. You just go bowling, go for the strike, and that's something that only Ludens, pardon me, can really give you there from safety. But and in solo queue, it's not great. I'll acknowledge that in solo queue, but I feel like in organized play, the engage ability, it's almost like having an Ash arrow available. Anytime that lilting lullaby is up. But for now, it looks like Red Canids rotating up their bot lane to the top side. Now, since the bot side dragon down and turret down as well, they can continue to pressure on a different side lane.
So to clarify here, because I misunderstood you the first time, as Leandrews does come in here, you're saying that with the Ludens, because of the Ludens pop, if you hit someone with a swirl seed, the pop will trigger the Dream Dust as well?
Yes, I believe that was how it used to work, if I recall correctly. So
Okay, well, no, then that is big. No, you're right. I mean, in coordinated play, that makes a ton of sense.
yeah, but with the mythics, it kind of fell off. Like before the mythics last season, that was why we saw a lot of Ludens come through, or not Ludens. It was the I forget what the enchanters, the enchanter or the sorcerer enchant on jungle. I think. Runic echoes. Yes, thank you, Dia. On
Yeah,
production, reminding me, Runic Echoes was the go-to enchant on Lilia because of that.
yeah. No, that felt really good when Jungle Karthus was taking over the meta. I played a lot of that with the Runic Echoes. I mean, to see your Skittles just pop and hit like 3 different people, but you still get the single damage proc version of that Q. Mercy. Oh, it felt so nice. Guigo and Trucklax gonna just hit each other with things in the bottom lane now. So same but different, as they say. But now
Oh, he brought that.
with the Sky Splitter's not going to land on Guigo, but now he's got some help. Guigo with a couple more autos. Trucklax healing it all right back up.
Oh.
Holy moly. That's a win. I'm sorry. You dedicate 4 members there and you get a kill if you're Guigo. That feels like a win to me.
100%. And that's the issue with trying to gank up Mordekaiser post 6. It's never going to be a 2v1, a 3v1 the entire time. There's a good solid amount of time where he drags you to Death Realm and it's a 1v1. No outside interference allowed. And that's exactly what we saw. That's why he rushed the sort of Nashor's Tooth there to ensure he has that 1v1 superiority. And Trucklax, that's a lesson he'll remember, I think, for the next gang.
Yeah, you would hope so. He's looking pretty strong right now. It is a lot of onus onto Guigo. Now it's a bit of a garage sale build still, but the Riftmaker will be born out of that chaos. Full Moonstaff build here for Aegis. And on Ivern, look, meme it all you want, say what you want about LS, but on a champion like Ivern, that is exactly what you want to do.
Yep. The thing, and I expect to see also, the Ardent Sensor come out potentially for Aegis, because your main carries here are Avenger and Titan. It's not going to be Guigo. Guigo is going to be a monster, don't get me wrong. And hello, 23-minute Baron here with no vision down whatsoever. A ton of bushes as well, and Trucklax's going to get caught.
Oh no, Trucklax. You saw okay, yeah. I mean, that's just got to be a little better coordinated. I think Daisy was out there. You could see that there were extra bushes. Moonlight Vigil does go out here and taken low and caught out again is Hawk. No vision, no problem. You get the soul unbound here. Here comes a big old shield. Very well played there by Avenger. Titan's going to pick up the kill. That's 3. And now they should be able to take this Baron with relative ease.
And this is what happens when you get a game with a team with good macro. Ritkin, it looks like such a evenly matched, not a ton of action style game. And then next thing you know, Red Canids gets themselves an amazing setup. They go into Baron, all vision cleared, and they did it so casually that I didn't even realize that they had cleared all the vision out until they kind of went and did it. And then you realize that, hey, Red Canids have no clue this is happening. Cruzeiro has no clue that this is happening. And credits to them for actually even recognizing that, hey, I think they might be on this despite not having any vision whatsoever. They do get a Constellation Ocean Drake out of it, but for the next, couple of minutes here, it's going to be real rough. And oh yeah.
Yeah, that was really well played there. I mean, they were just sitting in the bush. I mean, this Baron was, it was just really well executed. It was for the bait, if anything else, and they caught Trucklax with his pants down and they pounced.
And I question what Hawk was doing there, because like you said, they saw Daisy come out of the bush at the same time that they saw everybody else going for Trucklax. So they knew that it was being done. What was Hawk trying to get by going back in? Is my question there. Like he already almost died. He got away. He turned around, went back in, and that cost them another free kill for PBO to get caught, or it wasn't PBO. Sorry, it was Nospers, I think, which got caught there, or Sting. I'm running through all the names. Sorry, Sting got caught there. That was going to happen. Sting had no way out, and unfortunately, Avenger was already on it. But Hawk didn't have to go down.
No, he didn't. Now things are looking a little bit dicier here because, like you said, for the first 20 minutes, not really a ton going on. Trading kills and fights pretty evenly, 2-2 on Dragons. But now with this Baron buff at 25 minutes, they could get a lot out of this. And the first thing they do smartly is go mid tier 1.
Yep, the last standing tier 1 turret, and they're looking to collapse down here onto the bot side. I don't think they quite have the setup for it as of yet. They can just afford to walk this lane in and leave Guigo just split pushing either mid or top here.
Death Sentence lands onto Daisy. She takes a tower shot that gets rid of the trigger seed shield, but not much else. Another component coming in here for Aegis. It's either going to be that Ardent Sensor, maybe a Redemption, but one of those two going to be really, really nice here. Aegis healed all the way back up. Moonlight Vigil does miss. Big ultimate not available. And Guigo in a solo lane just wreaking havoc, and they're just 4-1ing this, and now they send Trucklax to respond, but it might be too little too late, but a fight breaks out, so Trucklax going to head on back here. Lilting Lullaby lands, he's going to pick up a kill on the JoJo. Hawk! How are you alive, my friend? Titan gonna pick up a kill. Rockets coming out here.
No!
Triple kill for Titan. The Rockets turned into homing missiles. Lantern be damned.
that wasn't a lantern be damned. That was a damning lantern because PBO unfortunately killed. When we said we wanted coordination coming out of Cruzeiro, we weren't referring to that sort of coordination where the support goes down with the ADC, and now Trucklax is going to get run down here. And the entire time that was happening, Guigo with that Gnasher's Tooth was just ripping turrets apart. Are we going to see a potential end to the game here? Because that feels like such a sudden end.
Maybe. I mean, this game went. I mean, they're going to try here. That Nexus turret is going to go down. No Baron buff left. Titan just kiting really well. Chompers go out. Daisy is frontlining. Not going to land the Death's Grasp, but the Death Sentence does land onto Daisy. And Avenger not feeling gutsy enough to try to take care of the Nexus. Just as I say that, he starts beating it with his sword, and they will wrap it up. Wow, out of nowhere, RMC, Red Canids, from dead even to in 8 minutes here, they get the Baron, and we blinked and the game was over.